listening to Cars and Coffee, your local home for IndyCar, Formula One, and sports car racing news.
Here on 91.3 WHJE.
And now, here's your host, Nathan Ward.
Hello and welcome back to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJE. My name is Nathan Ward. We are here. It is 11:30 on this wonderful Sunday, October 12th. Colts play today in Lucas Oil Stadium. Go Colts. We have a lot to talk about. There was a pretty significant happening last night and throughout this past week. IMSA had their season finale at the 28th running of the Motul Petit Le Mans. We will talk about that in just a little bit, but we have something a little bit more pressing that involves one of the manufacturers that took part yesterday, and I have been signed out of Google. Wonderful. Simply phenomenal. Great. While I fix my Google Drive issue, here's how you get in touch with the show on Instagram.
Want to get in touch with the show? Head over to the Cars and Coffee Instagram page at carsandcoffee_WHJE and send us a message. That's at carsandcoffee_WHJE. I'll try to answer as many messages as possible.
And we are back. We have the prep document is back. And the big news is that Porsche has axed its Factory World Endurance Championship Hypercar program for the 2026 season. In what it calls a comprehensive realignment of its motorsport programs, the decision comes amidst weeks of speculation regarding the future of not only Porsche's top-tier prototype racing efforts, but also the manufacturer's financial state due to declining sales of its road cars and retaliatory tariffs imposed by the United States government on foreign automakers. With this decision, the two-car IMSA effort will remain intact, along with Porsche's Formula E program. Before I move on to the rest of the story, I find this a little bit strange, because Formula E really, it has a core viewership, and that's kind of it. Like, Formula E really doesn't bring in a lot of new eyes, and clearly it's not helping Porsche sell more electric road cars. The political landscape regarding the automotive industry has changed over the last 12 months, but Porsche in general has been going down in sales mainly because they've gotten rid of a lot of their entry-level cars. Like a base, they're discontinuing the 718 Cayman. I think they're getting rid of a lot of entry-level models of the 911. The 911 base model is getting way more expensive anyway. Porsche's really not making a lot of great financial decisions to get a lot of people into collecting Porsches. So it's becoming one of those brands where, yeah, you just have to be rich to start collecting Porsches. But while Porsche will not be present with Team Penske in the World Endurance Championship next season, it is still possible that customer teams can fulfill the two-car requirement for the series. Porsche's exit from factory hypercar competition in the World Endurance Championship will have, quote, no effect on its customer programs, according to Porsche Motorsport boss Thomas Laudenbach, meaning that current customer team Proton competition can continue in the WEC if they expand to a second entry. WEC brought in this really odd rule last year where any manufacturer-backed entry has to have two cars, which they're trying a bit too hard to be Formula One here. It really won't. It forced Lamborghini out of the series because they didn't want to run more than one car. It kind of forced Isotta Fraschini out of the series because they were kind of going under anyway. It forced a lot of teams out, but it also forced a lot of people to expand beyond their means, if people understand that. Proton has been running a dual program in the WEC and the IMSA North American Endurance Cup, so the 5 endurance races of the IMSA season at Daytona, Sebring, Watkins Glen, Indianapolis, and Road Atlanta. They did not appear at both Indianapolis and Road Atlanta because they totaled their car at Watkins Glen. But with Penske leaving WEC, Proton could in theory, take that second 963 and move it over to the WEC, which it's been sitting on that reserve list for the 24 Hours of Le Mans for the last couple of years, that second Proton hypercar. They might make that a full season entry and try to apply for the, the manufacturer grant to be backed as a manufacturer team. The FIA and ACO are yet to comment on on how any Porsche entries for the 2026 WEC will be processed. That includes their GT cars, because the way that entries are assigned in the GT field is based on what manufacturers have a presence in hypercar. So, say Ford is going to have a hypercar program in 2027, so there are 2 Ford Mustangs on the grid in GT. Ferrari has a hypercar program, so there's Ferraris on the GT grid. They're tied together. I'm not a huge fan of that rule either. I think you should just run whatever you want, run whatever works. I like the fact that there's manufacturer diversity, but I feel like the WEC is trying too hard to just be a sports car version of F1, and I don't like that. Whether they will be seen as factory entries or privateer entries is also unknown. There are 2 categories or subcategories within hypercar that a lot of people forget about. There's the Hypercar Manufacturers Championship, which is the factory entered cars from Ferrari, Aston Martin, Peugeot, Toyota, BMW, so on. And there's also the Hypercar Team Cup with the 2 privateer entries, and it's always been just the 2 privateer entries, the number 99 Proton Porsche and the number 83 AF Corsa privateer sort of Ferrari. That might be going away depending on if Proton's entry is accepted with 2 Porsches. They will be a manufacturer entry, which means that the Hypercar Team Cup is down to 1 car. So I'm guessing they're going to get rid of that. Yeah, it's strange. There's a lot of unknowns here, but if the Porsche 963 races in the WEC next year, it could allow Team Penske to utilize IMSA's auto invite for the 24 Hours of Le Mans, because the team won the GTP Drivers' Championship following Saturday's 10-hour season finale at Petit Le Mans, and Penske has already confirmed that they want to be at Le Mans if circumstances allow. This is just a very, very strange situation. I have pulled up the Sports Car 365 article talking about how Penske says there's a lot of moving pieces here. They don't know what Proton's doing. They don't know what these other Porsche customers are doing. But I've seen a lot of people on Instagram say, oh no, the 963 is going to be gone forever. No, it's not. There's still going to be 3 of them in IMSA. There's going to be 2 from Penske, 1 from JDC Miller, and the car's still going to be racing, and it's probably still going to be winning, and Porsche has not ruled out a return, but the financial state of the company has not been great. So I don't understand why they pulled out of the WEC, though. Because IMSA, you've won everything there is to win. Not that I want to see the IMSA field get smaller. I just think I'm trying to look at this through Roger Penske's view of completing motorsport. And I don't see why you would give up something you haven't won yet. Because IMSA, you've got everything. You've got the GTP championship. You've got the manufacturers championship multiple times. You've won everything there is to win. The one thing that's missing for Roger Penske is an overall win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And the fact that you are taking a gamble that someone else is going to take this factory Porsche entry so you can go to Le Mans and Le Mans only, that's a big gamble. And that's a gamble that I did not expect Roger Penske to take, but it is a gamble that he has taken. We will be back in a second. We're going to go to a quick song break. But before you do, if you miss any of the show and you want to rewind and listen to it again, one, you can find it on the WHJE website. All of the shows from the first quarter of the school year will be uploaded this week to the WHJE website. But if you want to watch the shows, you can find them here on YouTube.
Want more racing news and highlights along with full show replays?
241.428 miles an hour.
Head over to the This Week in Racing YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Cars and Coffee and highlights from your favorite racing series. Just go to youtube.com/@TWIRvids.
That's how you can find the show. If you have missed any of the shows from the past weeks, or you want to rewind and listen to one of the segments that you might have missed before tuning in, we're going to go to a quick song break here on Cars and Coffee. You're listening to 91.3 WHJE. My name is Nathan Ward. Here's Blue Collar Man by Styx.
Don't go away. Cars and Coffee will be right back on 91.3 WHJE. Hi, if you're listening to this, that means you're listening to a replay of today's show. I just want to say thank you for listening and make sure to subscribe to the This Week in Racing YouTube channel so you never miss another episode of Cars and Coffee, along with highlights from your favorite motorsport series. If you're listening on the WHJE website, go to youtube.com/@TWIRvids. If you're listening to this on YouTube, just click the button below. Thank you so much for listening. Now, let's get back to the show. We now return to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJE.
Welcome back to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJE. That was Blue Collar Man by Styx. The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship season came to a close last night at the 28th annual Motul Petit Le Mans. Champions have been crowned, so let's go through the major events of the race that got us here. Within the opening minute, a 6-car accident in the GTD field eliminated the number 70 Inception Racing Ferrari, ending Brendan Iribe's hopes for a Le Mans invitation. The Bob Aiken Award for the best amateur driver in the GTD category will go to AWA's Ori Fidani. Also due to that accident and the elimination of the number 70 Inception car, the number 21 AF Corsa Ferrari took the GTD Endurance Cup title. Due to that accident, the GTD title was sealed in favor of Windward Racing, the overall GTD title across the whole season. The only way they could have lost is if they had finished 18th or worse in a 19-car GTD field, and with 6 cars out on the first lap, it was easy going for the 57 team. They ended up 5th in class at the end of the night. In GTD Pro, the championship lead bounced back and forth all day between the number 3 Corvette and the 81 Dragon Speed Ferrari until multiple penalties for the 81 pushed them far enough back for the number 3 to coast through the final hours and seal the title. The GTD Pro win went to the Paul Miller Racing number 48 BMW of Dan Harper, Max Hessa, and Connor DeFilippi. Interestingly, that team has not decided which manufacturer to campaign in the GTD Pro category next season. We will talk about that later. Dragon Speed had an absolute stinker of a final 4 hours in GTD Pro. Albert Costa was in that car for a majority of the for the final, 3 hours of the race. He was, I don't know what got into him, but he got involved in multiple incidents, had multiple penalties. It was an absolute stinker of a drive for Albert Costa that really cost Dragon Speed the title there. And I think if they didn't put him in the car, they would have kept it clean, but Costa was really, I'm going to say he was pushing too hard. He was going too hard. He was already ahead of the 3. All he needed to do was stay where he was, and he would have been the champion, but he tried too hard, and it all got away from him, and he just kept snowballing. My guess is it got into his head, and it just kept snowballing into more and more bad decisions for the 81 that eventually cost them the title to the number 3 Corvette. LP2 class honors in the race went to TDS Racing and drivers Mikkel Jensen, Hunter McElray, and Stephen Thomas, who won in what seems to be his final IMSA start. The number 11 had to fight all the way from the back of the LP2 grid after losing pole position due to a technical infraction. The championship in the class came down to the United Autosports number 22 of Dan Goldberg, and the AO Racing number 99, Spike the Dragon, being driven by Dane Cameron and GitHub founder PJ Hyatt, The 99's up and down day started when Johnny Edgar, their third driver for the endurance races, received a puncture after contact with another LMP2 car, leaving the 99 far behind the 22 in what seemed like Goldberg, Paul di Resta, and Rasmus Lind could just coast to the end and seal a title for Dan Goldberg in the 22 car. But with 2 hours to go, United's hopes fell apart when Paul di Resta had to put the car behind the wall due to a suspension issue, putting the 99 back into the championship lead. But it would not be a smooth run to the end for the 99, as they would continue to have issues. Dane Cameron's seatbelts came loose, but Spike the Dragon would hold on for a 5th place in class and the LMP2 championship for Dane Cameron and PJ Hyatt. Cameron has now scored an IMSA championship in 5 different classes. He had a GTD championship with Turner Motorsport in 2014, the first year of a unified IMSA series. He had a prototype championship with Action Express in 2016. He won DPI and GTP titles for Team Penske in 2019 and 2024, and now he has an LMP2 title. The GTP battle came down to the final stint and fuel strategy. The number 31 Cadillac was battling the number 23 Aston Martin and the number 6 Porsche for the overall win, as the GTP teams made their final stops. The 23 had to make a splash and dash to make it to the end, but the 6 had to take more fuel, promoting the Aston Martin to second place. Unfortunately for them, the traffic did not fall in their favor, and they came just a couple laps short of being able to catch Earl Bamber, who gave Action Express their second consecutive IMSA win, along with Jack Aitken and Frederick Vesti driving the number 31 Whelen Engineering Cadillac. Despite finishing third, the number 6 crew of Matt Campbell and Mathieu Jaminet took the overall GTP championship for Team Penske and Porsche. The Lamborghini SC63 came home in 4th, the best result for that car in what may be its final race. After a rough day for Acura, Porsche would also seal the GTP manufacturer's title. It was an insane race yesterday. I really hope... Go watch the highlights. If you haven't, go watch the highlights. They're up on YouTube, on IMSA's YouTube channel. My word. Valkyrie got so close, man. That would have been awesome. It's a great result for the number 23 Aston Martin Valkyrie. Roman DeAngelis, Ross Gunn, and Alex Riberas. The screaming V12 got so close at the end. They were about 3 seconds short at the line to the 31 car. But holy cow, what a race. It was up and down for a lot of the championship. GTP was honestly pretty much sealed before the race started. It would have taken an absolute miracle for the 24 BMW to win. And the number 7, the other Team Penske car, basically required the sister car to finish basically dead last. Both of them did. So what BMW was hoping for was both Penske's finish 11th and 12th in GTP, the last 2 positions, and the BMW had to win. So it was really massive long shot, but the 6 car was able to take the championship with Lawrence Vantor doing double duty across the 2 Team Penske cars because the regular third driver for the number 6, Julian Andlauer, woke up with a serious back injury. Yeah. So Andlauer was out of the race hours before it started. So Vantor had to quickly get into a mindset like, oh, darn, I'm driving 2 cars today. So he had to basically double his drive time, just do his time in the 6 car and have Jaminet and Campbell do the rest. But the 6 car had to take more fuel on the final stop, took it out of contention for the win, but the Valkyrie was getting so close. That thing had so much straight line speed compared to the 31, but traffic just didn't fall in the right position. There was a GTP car, a lapped GTP car, I think it was one of the Acuras, between the 2. DeAngelis could not get by in the final stint, but credit to the entire Heart of Racing team in what is a development year for the Valkyrie, getting that big of a result at a big race. That's huge for that program, and I can't wait to see them for their first attempt at the Rolex 24. They did not do the Rolex 24 this past year. I can't wait to see that car on the track again in January. Your Petit Le Mans winner Overall in GTP, the number 31 Whelen Cadillac of Earl Bamber, Jack Aitken, and Frederick Vesti. LMP2 honors went to the number 11 TDS car of Mikkel Jensen, Stephen Thomas, and Hunter McElroy. GTD Pro was won by the 48 Paul Miller BMW, Dan Harper, Max Hessa, and Connor DeFilippi. And the number 21 AF Corsa car took the win in GTD along with the Michelin Endurance Cup Championship. Simon Mann, Lilo Ladu, the only woman in the field, and Ferrari hypercar driver Alessandro Pierguidi. It was an amazing race. Again, if you did not watch it yesterday, I highly suggest you go watch the highlights on IMSA's YouTube channel. It was absolutely insane, and I can't wait for the next IMSA season, which we will talk about when we come back from the next song break. You're listening to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJE. Here's New World Man by Rush.
Don't go away. Cars and Coffee will be right back on 91.3 WHJE. Hi, if you're listening to this, that means you're listening to a replay of today's show. I just want to say thank you for listening and make sure to subscribe to the This Week in Racing YouTube channel so you never miss another episode of Cars and Coffee, along with highlights from your favorite motorsport series. If you're listening on the WHJE website, go to youtube.com/@TWIRvids. If you're listening to this on YouTube, just click the button below. Thank you so much for listening. Now, let's get back to the show. We now return to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJE.
Welcome back to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJE. My name is Nathan Ward. Been checking in on football. The Colts game starts in about half an hour. Playing the Cardinals. I have high hopes for today, but unfortunately, Anthony Richardson has been downgraded to QB3 for some reason. Apparently, he suffered an eye injury, which I don't know if that's talk for we're going to trade him or that's a legit issue, because that sounds so much like an Anthony Richardson injury. I'm just gonna be honest. But anyway, back to cars, because that's what the show's about. That's what you're here for. The entry list for the 2026 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship has been unveiled at the annual State of the Sport address on the Thursday before Petit Le Mans. 45 full season entries will be present across all four classes, with 9 additional Endurance Cup entries. GTP will stay at 11 full season entries with no extra cars for the endurance races. The Lamborghini SC63 is absent as expected. That program is taking a possibly permanent sabbatical, depending on what Volkswagen Group wants to do with it. And the Proton Porsche 963 is also no longer listed. There is a theory that that car will be going over to WEC, so Proton can become the Porsche factory team over there. The only other major change is that the factory BMW program will now be run by Team WRT. So GTP is at 11 cars, the 2 Porsches, 2 Cadillacs from Wayne Taylor Racing, the 2 BMWs from Team WRT, 2 Acuras for Meyershank Racing, 1 car from Aston Martin, 1 car from Action Express, the Whelen Cadillac, and the 3rd Porsche from JDC Miller Motorsports. The LMP2 class remains at 12 full season entries, with Team Tonus, which made its debut appearance at Road America, stepping up to a full season along with fellow newcomers Intersport Racing, who are returning after like 12-year absence, and Brian Herta Autosport. AF Corsa and Riley Motorsports will not return to the class for 2026. So Team Tonus is run by an Estonian guy named Tonus Kazimets. They've been in the IMSA Prototype Challenge before it became a multi-class series. They were the one of the stalwart teams of that series. They are moving up to LMP2. They made their debut with Kazimets and Matthew Brabham at Road America this past August. So LMP2, you are staying the same at 12 cars. Really weird to say, considering 5 years ago there were 2 full season LMP2 cars. That's ridiculous. But the 2 car from United Autosports, George Kurtz is staying around in the CrowdStrike Racing by APR car. Tower Motorsports is sticking around in the number 8. TDS Racing's back in the 11, but we don't know who their bronze driver is going to be because Stephen Thomas is apparently retiring. Era Motorsport is back in the 18. I'm imagining Toby Lutke will be the bronze driver in that car, Toby Lukey, is the CEO of Shopify. Yeah. United has another car, the 22. That's probably going to be Dan Goldberg's car. Intersport Racing is back after like a 12-year absence. Inter-Europol competition is back. Brian Herta Autosport is teaming up with the longest running LMP2 team on the grid, PR1 Mathias and Motorsports. Team Tonus in the number 61. Pratt Miller, the factory Corvette team, is back with an LMP2 car, and AO Racing will come back with Spike the Dragon. I don't really know what else to say about LMP2. All these cars are going to be Orica 07s unless something drastic happens, which I doubt it will. All of these teams are in possession of Orica 07s. I doubt they would change. That's going to be a history thing I'm going to do at some point in the off season. Why on earth do all the LMP2 teams run the same car? Tune in some point in the next couple weeks and I will talk about it. The GTD Pro Grid sees the addition of Porsche stalwart team Manti for the Endurance Cup races, where they will bring their iconic Grello Porsche. It's a yellow-green, it's a very well-known car from the Nürburgring endurance scene. It's won the Nürburgring 24 Hours a lot. I don't even have like a concrete number, but they have been a stalwart team of the Nürburgring Endurance Series and a lot of other European GT Series. Manti won the DTM Championship this past year as well. A lot of German touring car stuff for them. Risi Competizioni will make a return under their own name for the endurance races. They ran the Dragon Speed program for this year. Dragon Speed will move down to the GTD AM class for next season, and Triarsi Competizioni, another Ferrari team, will bring one of their cars up to the pro class as well. Paul Miller Racing will return with one car from a to be determined manufacturer, which I find a bit interesting because apparently Paul Miller has gotten a not so small offer from McLaren to run one of their 720S GT3s in IMSA. But with their win at Petit Le Mans with BMW, that might affect their decision. So there are 8 full season GTD Pro cars, 4 extra entries for the Endurance Cup. The 4 extra Endurance Cup entries are the 033 Triarsi Ferrari, the Risi Ferrari, the Manti Porsche, and the number 75 Sun Energy 1 Mercedes. But the full season entries come from Paul Miller, 2 from Corvette. The Pfaff Motorsports is coming back with their plaid Lamborghini. Vassar Sullivan is bringing their Lexus back, and AO Racing is back with Rexy. Manti and Triarsi will also appear in the GTD class for the 5 endurance races with an extra 2 cars, alongside the continued presence of AF Corsa and Lone Star Racing for the endurance races. Riley Motorsports will move from LMP2 to GTD after the retirement of their bronze driver, Gar Robinson. Actually, he's not retiring, he's going off-road racing. They interviewed him with a couple hours to go, Petit Le Mans last night. Gar Robinson seems like someone I'd like. He seems pretty cool. I'd have dinner with Gar Robinson. He seems to be like just the most positive person in the paddock. Like if I could get him on the show, I would. Riley is moving to GTD with a new Ford Mustang, and Vanderster Racing will run all of the races in their Aston Martin after doing just the Endurance Cup this season. Notably, Forte Racing, a Lamborghini team that has been running in the championship for the last couple years, and Cetilar Racing with their Ferrari are absent from the entry list. Cetilar is going over to the Asian Le Mans Series over the winter to run with a brand new Orica LMP2 car there. We do not know what their GT program is going to be like for 2026 at the moment. So you've got the Vassar Sullivan AM class car. You have the AWA. You have Ori Fidani's car, the number 13. The Riley Ford, the Vanderster Aston Martin, another Aston Martin from Heart of Racing. You have some Ferraris from Conquest, Inception, and Dragon Speed. A BMW from Turner Motorsports, a Porsches for Wright Motorsports, and GT3 GT World Challenge America Team RS1. Windward Racing, the reigning champs, are coming back. Wayne Taylor's coming back with a Lamborghini. That's pretty much it. And Mantai's bringing their WEC crew over in the number 912 Porsche. This is a stacked field. And again, going back to 2020, even pre-COVID, the Rolex 24 field pre-COVID, or like 2020, the Rolex 24 field was tiny. It was like 37 cars, I think. The 2020 24 Hours of Daytona. Yeah, it was quite small. Let's see. Come on, Wikipedia. I can't find the number. There were 38 cars taking part, 37 after the Black Swan Racing Porsche withdrew. But yeah, going from 38 cars for the Rolex 24 and around 34 for the full season, or for the the full endurance cup, all the way to 54 full season entries. That's a capacity grid at Road Atlanta. If all of these entries make it to Road Atlanta, you will be out of pit stalls. You won't have any more pit boxes. You would have to, like, if you had any more, you'd have to go to the Michelin Pilot Challenge pit lane on the other side of the track. So interest in IMSA is certainly growing, and I bet with the Genesis GTP entry in 2027, they may have to expand pit boxes at some tracks, if not most tracks. According to Sports Car 365, several other teams, including Team RLL and Random Vandals Racing, could still be granted full season entries pending confirmation from IMSA. RLL has just wrapped up their GTP program with BMW. They will be moving over to Team WRT. RLL could be running an LMP2 car. They could be running a GT car of some sort. Random Vandals Racing was hoping to run a BMW entry in GTD Pro. That may happen. I wouldn't be surprised if both of those teams are on the grid, at least for the Rolex 24, because Daytona's pit capacity, I think, is 63 cars. So I wouldn't be surprised to see RLL and Random Vandals at least at Daytona, and probably at Sebring, because they can fit the cars there. I don't know about the rest of the endurance races. I think you can fit more than 53 cars at Indy. Like, they were only using about 2/3 of the pit lane at Indy, so you've got plenty of room there, at least for IMSA. You have, I think Road Atlanta would be the only concerning one. Road America, because the 5th endurance race is moving to Road America next year. Maybe that's an issue. But, my word, it's going to be a stacked field. Notice, not a lot of the manufacturers are listed. It's pretty much a given that everyone in LMP2 will be running Orica 07s, and pretty much everyone's locked in GTP. You don't see a lot of manufacturer switches, but if you do, they are big news. And a lot of the time, the manufacturer is in the team name. So the only two that aren't are JDC and Action Express, and those are very obvious. Like Action Express is a GM team through and through. They're staying with Cadillac, and JDC Miller only has the Porsche. I don't think anyone else would give them a car. But very stacked field. I can't wait to get to Daytona in January. I'm not going, but I can't wait for the Rolex 24 at the end of January 2026. It's going to be an incredible race. There's still opportunities. Again, Daytona has capacity for 60-some cars, 62, 63 cars. There's still possibility of more one-off GTP entries, more one-off LMP2s, one-offs in all of the classes for worldwide teams that are that could get their warm-up in for the rest of the racing season at Daytona, because it's in January. It's not really near any of the other big races. The only thing it is near is the WEC season opener, and even that is about a month later. So it could be used for some WEC teams, especially now with hypercar teams. Maybe some of these hypercar teams could head over to Daytona and do basically a 24-hour warm-up race for their season if they so desire. But 2026 is going to be a great season. It's never, again, I've been saying this the last couple of weeks. It is a great time to be a fan of sports car racing. WEC, IMSA, GT3s, the GT2 grid is getting larger. I didn't even I completely forgot that GT2 existed until about 2 days ago, but apparently they're still growing. Everything everything has become more cost effective. It has allowed more amateur drivers to get in, and it has allowed more manufacturers to showcase brand new technologies. You have the new hydrogen class coming to WEC in the next couple of years if that's ready. But again, it is a great time to be a fan of sports car racing, and even when there's no, IndyCar news, or I don't talk about NASCAR much because I'm kind of boycotting NASCAR because the playoffs, I don't like the playoffs. But even when there's nothing else going on, there's still sports cars going on. Like through December, you're going to have the FIA GT World Cup at Macau. The Indianapolis 8-hour is, I think, next week. You've got a lot going on. If you're a sports car fan, you have a lot to watch, a lot of manufacturers. You have more than enough to pick a favorite. You can easily find favorite drivers, favorite cars, favorite teams. There's a lot to like about sports car racing right now. And I think there's going to be a lot to like about IndyCar next year. I think IndyCar is going to have a great 2026 season. On that positive note, I'm going to end the show. Thank you for listening to Cars and Coffee here on 91.3 WHJE. We will see you next week, Sunday at 11:30 a.m. every Sunday. Make sure to tune in. Again, find us on Instagram at carsandcoffee_WHJE. If you want to get in touch with the show, I'm always looking for guests. And if you want to listen to the show in its entirety, again, go to youtube.com/@TWIRvids or the WHJE website at some point this week. All of the shows from the first quarter of the school year will be uploaded over there, where you can go check out some of the other projects that we've been working on over here at WHJE. So thank you for listening. Here's On the Border by the Eagles. I will see you next week. Go Colts.